Yeah, no, I thought it was Priya Singh for a moment.
Jyotaji, Priya Tiwari, she said, I am traveling. It looks like she is in a helicopter.
They travel to Dwarka from Southex. That's such a long journey and in so much traffic that it's very commendable that they do join.
Absolutely.
Sir, we
Yeah,
have
yeah.
started with live recording, so it is going on YouTube now.
So let's start. Good evening, friends. Welcome on board, Jyotaji, Utpandala, Priya Tiwari, Sangeeta Agrawal, and other attendees. Commendable attendees, and our today's guest speaker, Dr. Rohan. Friends, today this is our 17th episode. That's with Fridays with Shrenik, and we are glad, to talk much more about tobacco, mining, and everything. And we pretty well know that, the use of tobacco in a different form, including smoking, etc., it's causing kind of head and neck cancer, lung cancer, and many other issues. So let me introduce Dr. Rohan. He's a founder of Quit Buddy, and he has delivered over 1,000 sessions, to you to stop using tobacco or other tobacco sessions and counseled over 5,000 individuals. And on top of that, he got featured in midday and delivered talks at news channels and a commendable person indeed. So, Dr. Ron, thank you for joining. Thank you for giving your precious time, and we look forward to your enriching talk. Stages are yours now. Kindly proceed.
Thank you so much, Shrenik sir, and thank you, Josna ma'am, Vaishali, the entire ICS team. I have been privileged to work with ICS Delhi. I've been worked with ICS Mumbai, but I always looking forward to work in Delhi also. And the ICS Delhi has been giving me these opportunities at different levels and different intervals. So thank you once again. Coming back to the topic, Shrenik sir, you're doing a wonderful job by doing this awareness sessions because. In a country like India with a diverse population and such a huge population, it's very difficult to spread awareness. But your attempts are definitely good because you have been doing it consistently. So it's commendable. Uh, Coming back to tobacco topic, is English comfortable with all, or should I? It's okay, right? English is okay. Great. So coming back to the tobacco topic, the problem is that a lot of people feel that I know everything about this topic because this topic is so common in our country where you just step out of the house and you find everyone smoking and spitting and consuming various kinds of tobacco products. It could be different age groups, different caste of society, and it's very common. So it's a very accepted norm in the society. But I'll just give a brief background of mine where how I was introduced to this. So I am a medical doctor. But being in spite of being a medical doctor, I would like to share that we were never taught in our medical colleges about tobacco de-addiction. So I once I passed out, I was working with different hospitals, and eventually I did my MBA in NMMS in social entrepreneurship, where I got exposed to a lot of social projects. And one of the projects I got an opportunity to work was this tobacco de-addiction project. I was very privileged to work with some of the best doctors in Mumbai, Dr. Sultan Pradhan sir, and under his guidance, we were working on a project of tobacco de-addiction in a hospital-based kind of a setup, where I got an opportunity to work with Dr. Nancy Rugoti. She's a medicine professor from Harvard, and she's a big name in tobacco field, and she's done a lot of contributions of about her, and she works extensively in tobacco de-addiction. So that is where my first introduction to tobacco de-addiction field happened. And then I learned that there are lots and lots of things which even the medical fraternity is unaware about, and forget about the general public, because general public had lots and lots of misconceptions regarding this topic. And my daily job is to go and visit a hospital every day, see what are the admitted patients, and among them who are the tobacco consumers. And irrespective of the caste, class, whether it's a male or a female or any age group or any diagnosis, I has to enroll them in the project and I used to give them counseling. So that is how my journey started. And then I learned more in deep depth about it. I did existing courses, whatever was available. And the more I learned, the more I realized that there is a lot to be done in this field. It's not only about showing cancer images and talking to people about tobacco causes cancer, which is going to be enough in a country like India, where people are not even bothered now with that cancer image. That is, I mean, people are, I don't know what, but they still continue doing it because that something is not a matter for them now. So we need to go beyond that. So what I started doing is when I was doing treatment, I started. I also was a trainer, so during that period, I started training doctors and other healthcare professionals also, and simultaneously I started doing awareness. But when I started doing awareness, I realized that this is going to be a huge task, and I mean, people are not just aware of basics about tobacco. So I'll start my session today, or the talk was, I won't be going in much details about a treatment, but I'll just give some basic things about tobacco, which are not, which I realized that people are not much aware about, or maybe you may be aware about, or something addition to it, it would be take home messages for you. Believe me, I'm not here because all of you are attending are into tobacco consumption, but I'm sure you are attending this session because you are having some kind of inclination towards this topic, and I want you to listen to this session and take home these messages and spread these points wherever possible and to maximum people you can reach out to. So to begin with this particular topic about tobacco, I mean, we all know about tobacco, a lot of things, products, and it causes cancer. But then we should start from the basics. That is how I speak with my patients also and with the general public that to begin with, where does tobacco come from? So tobacco comes from a tobacco farms. So there are basically shrubs and is a tobacco farm. So there is some uniqueness about this tobacco farm, that this is the only farm which doesn't require any kind of protection or fencing. Now the question is why this farm doesn't require any fencing. The answer is because even animals don't consume it. Yes, you heard it right. So the first thing is the thing which even animals understand, that it's not a eatable plant should human beings eat. But we should go beyond that and try to understand why animals are not consuming it. So if you're taking the leaf from the tobacco leaf from the farm and giving it to the laboratory just to understand what are the different chemicals present into it, you will realize that even at that time, the tobacco leaf from the farm has a lot of harmful chemicals, which are poisonous chemicals. Even nicotine is present at that time. So first of all, it is not a edible plant. You must have seen your car mechanic telling you that if the rat is biting your car wire, just apply some tobacco and the rat won't touch it. So imagine even animals understand it's not an edible plant. But my point is ki, what are those chemicals and why we should not consume it? Because it's a harmful chemicals. If we do research, there are a lot of poisonous chemicals. And it's not only about that. When the cigarette making companies prepare cigarettes and gutka and other tobacco products are prepared, they add a lot of chemicals into it to make it more pleasurable, to make it more addictive. And the latest research or the survey says that today, if you test a single cigarette, it has thousands of chemicals. I mean, like 4,000 to 7,000 chemicals, out of which 200 are proven poisonous, more than 65 are proven carcinogenic. Carcinogenic chemicals are those which have capacity to produce cancer. Now, it's a simple logic that if I'm consuming chemicals, harmful chemicals, I'm taking poisonous chemicals on carcinogenic chemicals on daily basis. Of course, it is going to impact my body parts, and there is no rocket science into it. It's a simple logic. If I'm taking poison, my body is going to get affected by it. But this is something which people are not much aware about, or maybe they are aware, but they are not aware of what could be the impact of this on their body. So they take it very lightly. Again, because it's been our culture and a lot of other aspects to it also. Going ahead, there is another perspective which people look at this particular tobacco thing. So first of all, people feel it is something very glamorous, or something like the movie stars like Shah Rukh Khan smoking and all. So this has been the perception about the people, but the perception is what we need to change, and we need to explain them. Okay, this is not the what the right thing about tobacco. Tobacco is something which is going to give you lots and lots of diseases. So it is going to give you life-threatening diseases. That is the first point. Second thing, it is going to give you a lot of financial loss. Today, a single cigarette, I mean, every year in the budget, the taxation on the cigarette goes on rising, and that is why the cost of cigarette is going on rising. And a single cigarette today will cost you like 10 to 15 rupees. So if a person is smoking, like even 10 cigarettes daily, is losing 100 to 150 rupees. So it's a huge amount if you calculate it weekly, monthly, and yearly. So it's a direct money loss. But you may tell me that there are a lot of other, chewing products in India which may be costing like 10, 20 rupees a packet or something like that. But try to understand, even if it's a small packet, and but the disease what you're buying today, all of us are aware what are the medical costs. And over that, even if you're unfortunate to get a cancer, then it's another thing, because cancer treatments are not that simple, and it's not that I mean, it's a huge cost involved, and that is the time entire family gets involved into it. And this family, I have seen, I mean, a lot of families struggling, and it's a very hard situation for the family, not just monetary money wise, but also psychologically. The whole family gets into huge psychological pressure. So whole it's not affecting just one person, but entire families are getting affected because of it. I mean, people working in this field are aware about it, but if that is a thing, we need to explain the other people who are not much aware about it. We work with cancer patients, we work with cancer hospitals, so we know what is the end result of going to be of any kind of this tobacco product. But we need to spread this awareness. Ki you're you'll be unfortunate if you get into this, and it's not about cancers only, because there are a lot of other life-threatening diseases also. So these basic things I wanted to people to understand. I would briefly touch about the products, because again there are a lot of misconceptions regarding the tobacco products. So tobacco products are mainly classified, or there are two types: smoking or chewing. Or smoking is when which it has to be lit by fire and smokes comes out of it. So there are cigarettes, there are BDs, there are hookahs, and there are like cheroots and e-cigarettes and all. So cigarettes everyone knows, but what a problem with cigarette is people feel that this cigarette has a filter, so it is safer than a BD. That is a common misconception which people carry all around. But try to understand there is nothing like that. So I will try to make 3 points very clear, and I want every one of you to remember these 3 points. First of all, first point is, no matter what tobacco product it is, the moment you find that there is tobacco present into it, it is definitely going to be harmful in any form. So first thing is, no matter what form, no, if there is tobacco present in that particular product, it is going to be dangerous. It is going to be problematic. Second thing, no matter what quantity you are consuming it, you'll find a lot of people telling you, I have only one cigarette, or I have only one pan, one gutka, whatever it is. But even the quantity is not going to matter. Even that small quantity is going to be harmful. And third important point is, no matter what duration you are consuming it. It's not only that if after consuming only 10, 15 years that you're going to land up into problem. I've personally seen cases, and there are lots of cases where after consumption of very short duration also, people have landed up into different life-threatening diseases. So always remember these 3 points: no matter what product it is, no matter what quantity you're consuming it, and no matter what duration you're consuming it, it is still going to be life-threatening. So these 3 points are important, and cigarette companies claim to be Gold Flake Light and low tar and slim cigarette, ladies cigarette. No matter what cigarette type it is, every cigarette is going to give you cancers. Every cigarette is going to give you a lot of life-threatening diseases. So that is about cigarettes. And afterwards, we see about BDs. It's a very unorganized sector. The cost is less. And it is easily available. So because of the easy access and cheaper cost, a lot of people in India consume BD, and of course it's a tobacco product, and it is going to have same impact, lots impact on your body with cancers and other diseases. Then we come to hookahs. Now hookahs, I want to just specify some points over here, because again there are lots of misconceptions around these hookahs. I think some 6, 7 years back, the Supreme Court removed a ban on the hookah parlors, and the hookah parlors was started again. But believe me, there is no connection that because they are safe, they started it. Of course, the reasons are totally different. I'll mention the reasons also why the Supreme Court had to take this decision. Try to understand, there are a lot of research studies available which shows that the hookahs are equally dangerous. In fact, they are more dangerous than a cigarette. I'll tell you how logically also. See, try to understand, when a person is smoking a cigarette, he cannot hold the same cigarette, one cigarette for the entire day. The cigarette will get over in like 10 minutes or something like that. It may won't go for an continuously. But a hookah session, one hookah session itself lasts for almost 40 minutes to hour and more. So the exposure is so high. So try to understand that when the person is taking a hookah session, he won't just take it for 5 minutes. The entire session is there. It is as good as exposure to 25 to 30 cigarettes. That is the first point. Second point, try to understand these hookah parlors and these hookah companies try to promote it, let a lot of flavors into it, this flavor and apple flavor and whatnot. try to understand. If you take this flavor packet, the packet also mentions over there nicotine content so and so. So there is no hookah flavor, no packet which is without nicotine, and nicotine is was the main culprit in tobacco. So it is going to be a hook. So nicotine is always present. So no tobacco is without no hookah is without tobacco. Third thing is a lot of poisonous gases come out of it, like any other cigarettes and other things. And one of the just to mention is about the carbon monoxide. It's the same gas the which the Hitler used for his prisoners. It's a poisonous gas. It's not the only gas. It's a lot of other. Just to mention a few, carbon monoxide is the gas what you are getting from hookah also. Another interesting thing is interstitial lung disease. Now, this interstitial lung disease is a disease of our lungs. Our lungs are an elastic organ. I mean, the tissue of the lung is elastic. Because of this elasticity of the tissue, when you breathe, the lungs expand and contract. And because of this, we can have this particular proper functioning. But what happens in this interstitial lung disease? This tissue gets fibrous. It becomes like a stone. It becomes hard. It's a structural change. And till date, there is no treatment available for any in any science in any country for this interstitial lung disease. And one of the major risk factors or reasons for this ILD, interstitial lung disease, is cigarette smoking, BD smoking, and hookah smoking. Of course, there are other reasons like industrial waste and pollution, but cigarette, BD, and hookah smoking are one of the most preventable causes of ILDs. I've personally seen people consuming hookah coming to chest physician, chest specialist after suffering from this interstitial lung disease. So please spread this awareness, because unfortunately what is happening is a lot of young crowd. You will see people below the age group like 20 and 18 going to this hookah parlors, and it's an entry point. Today the person who is going to hookahs, tomorrow is going to landing up into other tobacco products. So it is an entry point. So we need to spread this awareness. Hookahs are not at all safe. Another products are like cheroots and cigars, where tobacco is wrapped into tobacco leaf itself. The smaller form locally available are cheroots, and the bigger forms are cigars. Another important product which is becoming more and more popular, and we should be aware about it. Most of people are not yet aware about it, which is the electronic cigarettes. Basically, they are not e-cigarettes. Basically, they are now called as electronic nicotine delivery systems. So the only difference over here is here it looks like a cigarette, but it has the tobacco in a liquid form, and there are small batteries present over there, because of which the combustion happens and smokes come out of it. Either there would be small batteries or they could be chargeable batteries, and this particular e-hookahs are becoming more and more popular. As I said, the only difference here is tobacco in the liquid form. They are available in different shapes, and also they are called as joules, vapes, mods also. But the mechanism is the tobacco in liquid form, and there are batteries present. Now, because here the only difference is tobacco in liquid form, it has the same impact on body like any other cigarette. It right from your top to bottom, like to your genetic level, this electronic cigarettes are harming your body. That's the reason more than 30 countries all over the world have banned the sale of electronic cigarettes. Even India has taken a decision from 2019 to ban all the electronic cigarettes, but unfortunately, they are still available because there are different forms like e-hookahs are available. I have personally seen, in fact, you'd be surprised that if the schools like 8th standard kids are found with having this electronic devices, and the parents are not aware about it, and it's totally something which is been missed, and these youngsters are getting more and more attracted towards it. A lot of Western people are getting addicted to it, and there are a lot of articles I have seen recently where people are claiming this is a harm reduction technique. But believe me, these are all paid articles. The tobacco lobby is very strong, and they are coming up with such articles to show that these electronic cigarettes are kind of harm reduction technique and all. WHO, World Health Organization, has yet not approved any of these devices for the treatment part or and harm reduction part. So please be aware, don't fall prey to all this research work and all. The bottom line remains the same, that these are harmful and this is going to impact your body. Though don't use it as a harm reduction technique if even anyone is asking you to do it. So that is about the smoking products. Chewing the products, there are n number of products. I mean, after working in this field for more than 10 years, I cannot claim that I'm aware or I know all the smokeless or chewing tobacco products, because of course I've worked in different states and I have been exposed. I mean, I've seen so many different tobacco products. Like you go to Gujarat, the product will change. You go to Northeast, the product will change. You go to UPBR, you go to South. There are n number of tobacco products. I mean, the packaging changes, the brand name changes, the method of consumption changes. but tobacco is always there. So always remember important point. Whenever you feel there is tobacco, it is definitely going to be harmful. I mean, there are lots of products like tobacco with lime, which is taken in Maharashtra. If you see kharra is there, which is a premixed form of tobacco and lime, that is chuna. Then there is gutka. Now, the Maharashtra as a state has banned gutka, but again, because the neighboring states have not banned it, it is smuggled. And that is why the cost of the gutka has gone high. That's the only difference. And people have shifted. People who cannot afford gutka, they shift the product. So I'll tell you why this shift also happens. Then there is pan masala. This is something I wanted you to understand about pan masalas because a lot of misconceptions around it. The thing is that this pan masala, the base is supari, arak nut. And gutka is tobacco and other tobacco products have tobacco. But pan masala is something which is having supari arak nut. Now there is a law in India which is called as COTPA, Cigarette and Other Tobacco Product Act. According to this law, there are the law says that the tobacco companies are not allowed to promote or advertise any kind of tobacco products directly. Like previously, we used to get advertisements, बारातियों का स्वागत हम पान पराग से करेंगे या ऊंचे लोग ऊंची पसंद मानिक चंद and all. Nowadays, this advertisements are not seen because government has this restriction. This law is in place. But what this tobacco lobby has done, they have found their own ways to do it, and they are coming up with this pseudo marketing thing where you see Ajay Devgan doing ad of Zuba Kesri before Vimal, and then Shah Rukh Khan coming from behind, and even Akshay Kumar coming from behind, and a lot of other actors coming and telling Meri bhi Zuba Kesri, and this Vimal, which they are promoting, that Vimal is more famous for gutkas, but because they cannot promote gutka, they come up with this pseudo marketing where they are promoting this particular Vimal pan masala. Like Priyanka Chopra doing advertisement of Baba Ilaichi, and a lot of other people are doing some Rajnigandha advertisements and all. But these are allowed because these are pan masalas. Now try to understand first thing, the pan masala, the base is supari arak nut, but supari arak nut is different from tobacco, but it also is a precursor for cancer. I repeat, Supari is not at all safe. Arak is not at all safe. We have lots and lots of patients coming from Northeast after consumption, and a lot of other places also too. There's a huge research available in TMS Tata Hospital which talks about how this Supari is causing precancerous and cancerous lesions, and that is why this Supari is also equally dangerous. A lot of youngsters again, they are targeting a lot of young people like children getting attracted to this pan masalas. And if you see the packing, it is almost similar to any gutka packing. So tomorrow, once they grow up, they feel that now I should graduate and I should move on to gutkas, and that is how these people get into the habits of it. So there's small points, but actually we need to be aware about it because we are working in this field. And if we are ourselves not aware, I mean, we will miss a patient and we won't be able to spread this awareness. There are a lot of other products. Also, like the snuff, which is called like chinkni, tapkir, or naswar. I've personally seen after the tobacco is taken through the nose, the powder of tobacco is taken through the nose. Again, I've seen cases with people suffering from cancer after consuming it. Tobacco is burnt and applied on the gums, which is common in Maharashtra, where a lot of females are using it and again suffering from cancers. And pan is again there. Now, this pan, the problem in India is everywhere there is pan available, but the pan a lot of people say I have a simple pan, sada pan, meetha pan. Tobacco pan, to definitely it will be dangerous. But when you're saying you're having a simple pan, try to understand what are the ingredients because most of the time there will be something called as kimam into it, which is nothing but a tobacco paste. So unknowingly you will be consuming tobacco. There is something called as supari again, which we already discussed, present, which you should not be taking. So you should be aware what are the ingredients of this pan. Another thing is like sophisticated toothpaste are today available. I was surprised that there are Dentobac and Ipco is a brand name. Ipco is a tobacco toothpaste, sophisticated tobacco toothpaste. And I have actually seen families after having breakfast applying this. Can you imagine after breakfast someone applying a toothpaste on the gums? This is an addiction and people are doing it and we need to be aware about it. So I won't go much about products. These are a lot of their products are available and you should just see whether it's having tobacco and just it is going to be dangerous. Coming about to the diseases, so a lot of immediate and long-term impacts on the body are there. So it could be like bad breath, discoloration, the sense of taste and smell goes away. Your eyes will turn black, watery eyes, irritation in the eyes, your dark circle below the eyes, difficulty in concentration, early wrinkles on the skin. Certain chewing tobacco products will give you white spots in the mouth. Leukoplakia or red spots or erythroplakia or submucous fibrosis where your mouth opening reduces. Normally, I can put four fingers in my mouth, but because of this chewing tobacco consumption, the fibrosis happens and the mouth opening reduces so much so that it even cannot put a spoon in the mouth. So this is called as submucous fibrosis. Now, these are all precancerous conditions. I mean, these are conditions that if the person, in spite of having this condition, they don't stop it, it is definitely going to get converted into cancer. So we should immediately tell the person about this and immediately counsel him and see to it that he stops it so that you can reverse the condition. So this is something, another important thing which I want to mention. Unfortunately, what is happening about that, we are just talking more about the negative aspects of it. And what I have personally found in my practice is the positive points we spread or what we talk about motivates the person more. Rather than telling him about only cancers and cancer images, we should tell him about how it is going to help you once you quit. So there is a proper research available which talks about what are the good changes happening in the body once you stop consuming tobacco, stop consuming smoking, and it's a proper research. What I explained a person is if you fall down and you get an injury, of course, this injury is not going to last for lifelong. I mean, all people, everyone understand that much. There is a body's mechanism where the body does repair, there is a cell regeneration happening, and there is a healing process in the body. Similarly, when a person stops consuming tobacco, the body gets into a reverse mode, and a lot of damage that tobacco has caused to the body will start going into a reverse. And there is a proper research available on what are the good changes happening in the body. Like within 20 minutes, your heart beats, your pulse rate and your blood pressure starts getting back to normal. Within 12 hours, your carbon monoxide level starts getting back to normal. Within 2 to 12 weeks, your lung function test starts improving. Within 6 to 9 months, your chest congestion, cough, and all goes away. Within 5 to 10 years, your risk to heart attack, stroke, paralysis drops by 50%. Within 15 years, you are as good as a non-smoker. I mean, a person who has never smoked and the person who has quit smoking 15 years back come to a same level to have any cardiovascular disease risk. Can you imagine to what level your body can do repair? This is important because what people think, okay, I've consumed so many chemicals for all these years. So what is the point of quitting now? I mean, I'm going to anyways going, my parts are got damaged. But no, this is not the truth, not the reality. We need to explain them कि the earlier you quit, the earlier the body will get chance to repair. So this is something very important to tell the people and motivate them कि you should immediately quit and let your body repair, and your body has a huge ability to do this repair. And definitely people have seen these changes happening, and people will themselves tell कि now I'm feeling better, now I don't find the difficulty in climbing stairs and running and all. I have actually witnessed this, people coming back to me and telling me about this. So this is something very crucial, very important information which we need to pass on to the patient so that they get motivated to quit. And definitely we want more people to get quit before they land up into any life threatening illnesses. There is no point telling after that. We need to tell them before, proactively. What I've realized after working in this field, that we cannot wait for people to getting into not just cancers but other life threatening diseases like heart attacks and strokes and paralysis and other things. We need to explain them proactively before they land up into it. Coming back to the diseases part, a lot of other diseases like tuberculosis. Now, how tuberculosis is a very common disease in India, and how tuberculosis and tobacco is related. So tobacco has an inherent capacity to kill your appetite. तंबाकू खाने से भूख मर जाती है. Tobacco kills your appetite. Now, if your appetite goes down, uh, you won't feel hungry and you won't eat. Now, if you don't eat, your immunity will start dropping. Now, immunity is a very big word, and COVID has taught us a lot about the immunity, that is rog pratikarak kshamta. So this immunity is something very important we all understand now to prevent us from diseases. So the tuberculosis being so rampant and so common in India, the people having consuming tobacco will immediately fall prey to tuberculosis. And we have done the research in a TB center. We found 80 to 90% people suffering were consuming tobacco. So that's a known fact. The tobacco kills your appetite and creates problem with your immunity. So that is how tuberculosis and tobacco are related. Even diabetes. If a person consuming tobacco, it releases pseudoglucose in the body, and the person doesn't eat, and that impacts the pancreas, and that is how your diabetes person will find it very difficult to maintain the sugar levels if he is consuming tobacco. Now the blood vessels gets contracted. I mean constricted. The size of this our blood vessels. The heart pumps blood to our different parts of the body, but this pipeline, the blood vessels get constricted. I mean their size gets reduced. Now these peripheral blood vessels which are supplying blood to our fingers and hands and legs, these are small blood vessels, and if their size reduces, they will get blocked, and the blood supply to that part will get blocked, and then they get a disease called as gangrene. This is nothing but that part will get decayed. Actually, it gets decayed, and this part, that disease is called as gangrene. Now, because it is very common in smokers, because smoking causes constriction and this of this blood vessel, it is also called as smokers gangrene because it is very common in smokers. And this is a very deadly disease because the part has to be cut, which is called as amputation, because the poison from that part should not spread to other body parts. And there are amputation cases again are huge in India because diabetes and other complications and with this particular amputations are very rampant. And again, smoking is a major risk factor for this particular thing. Another thing like infertility, impotence in men. I mean, it's a known fact that smoking causes a lot of free radicals release, and free radicals are very damaging to the body. And anything the free radicals, I mean, wherever the free radicals are involved, it is definitely going to reduce your immunity also, and it is going to damage your body. And similarly, it will damage your fertility and it will damage your particular impotency also. So your ability to get if you want a child also, it is becoming more difficult, and that is why you see a lot of couples suffering today because of this impotency also. And in females now, a lot of girls and women are into smoking. Previously it was more of chewing tobacco in women, but nowadays you see a lot of girls, educated girls, college girls, corporate girls into smoking. I mean, these are all educated girls and they can read and write, they can understand what is written on the packet, but still they are consuming it. Of course, a lot of things are they must be aware, but one important thing which I think they're not aware is that they are ruining their reproductive life. It's a known fact that smoking causes a lot of stillbirths, a lot of infertility, a lot of pregnancy related complications and deformities. So this is something we need to make these girls aware about, because becoming a mother is such a beautiful and important thing for a girl, and if that is getting ruined because of smoking, it is something really bad, and we need to at least make them aware that this is going to happen, this is a possibility. And no wonder today we have lots and lots of lifestyle changes and lifestyle diseases coming up, like fibroids and endometriosis and infertility cases with IVF becoming so common, and every couple struggling with this. So it is going to be more problematic for these girls who are into it, and we need to make them aware and prevent all these things. So that was about the disease part. Coming back to the something about a treatment part, I'm not going to much details about it, but yes, I want to make it very clear here on this platform that tobacco treatment is available. Tobacco de-addiction is possible. My personal success rate was like above 50%. Again, it differs from setup to setup, but yes, it's a very good success rate, and definitely people do quit. Because a lot of people thinking it's impossible to quit. So this is a very wrong thing which people are feel, because they must have tried and they must have not got right help. So there is a research which says that if you get a proper help from a proper expert, the chances of this particular quitting will increase almost 4 times. So you need to have a proper help, and there are experts like me. A lot of people are not even aware. I mean, I was surprised that even a doctor I met who was a onco surgeon. I mean, he was a surgeon basically, and he said ki, oh, there is something like tobacco treatment also, and people are there whom can be referred to. This is something in a country like India where we are number one in oral cancers, we are number one in a lot of other disease, and that is where we people they should know that there is something called as tobacco de-addiction, and we should help people, as I said, proactively and not wait for them to get into the disease. So these two important points we should spread awareness that tobacco de-addiction is possible, and there are experts who can help you to get rid of it, and the hand holding is required. Of course, it is not that easy because de-addiction it's an addiction basically. And if you see tobacco addiction, see every addiction is different. So tobacco addiction is different. There is some alcohol addiction is different. Narcotics addiction is different. The treatment protocols are different. But of course, it's not that easy for the person. It is easy for me to tell the person you should quit. But for that person who is going into it, it is going through a physical, psychological, and behavioral addiction. It's difficult for him. So that is why we need to support him, help him, do a regular hand holding, regular follow up, good counseling, and motivate him. Of course, there are chances, and I have personally I'm doing it, so I know there are definitely possibilities, and we can make a difference. So don't forget that we can definitely make a difference. So this is another message I want to all of you to take home, that tobacco de-addiction is possible, and with proper guidance and help, we can help a lot of people to get out of it. So coming back to the addiction part, now we need to just quickly, I'll just explain about the addiction part. See, addictions, why do people into addiction? This is something we need to know. So addiction is something, I'm not talking about only about tobacco in general. Why do people get into addiction? So there are 4 important reasons. I mean, there are a lot of reasons, but important reasons, like first reason is the characteristic of those chemicals present in these substances. Like there is something in tobacco called as nicotine. So there is something in alcohol. There is something in narcotic drugs. So these chemicals by nature, by characteristic. So Gunadharm, like mercury has some characteristic, silver has some characteristic, gold has some characteristic. Similarly, nicotine ka characteristic is that it will go in your body, create receptor level changes, and these receptors will keep on demanding for more and more nicotine. So it's a characteristic of that chemicals. I mean, it is going to behave same way in my body, any other person's body also. It's a characteristic of that chemical. So first reason is the characteristic of the chemical. Second is the personality of that person. If your personality is strong enough, bold enough, good enough, you would not fall prey to all these things. You won't fall prey to peer pressure, friends pressure, or stressful conditions and all. You, because of your strong personality. So it personality plays a very important role. Third important point is friend and family support. I mean, friend and family support is a very important thing. I mean, if your friend circle is good, your family support is good, definitely a lot of people may not get into it at the first place. So that plays a very important role. And fourth is the stressful environment. It is often seen that people going through or working in a stressful environment, the chances of them getting into addictions are much more. Of course, there are other reasons, but these are the major reasons why people get into it, start it. In spite of the picture mentioning about cancer, and in spite of a lot of other things, people start doing it. Of course, there are a lot of other reasons why people get into smoking in spite of those pictures, like wrong beliefs. Like people feel कि cancer मुझे नहीं होगा. Like in COVID, people used to feel COVID मुझे नहीं होने वाला. So it a lot of wrong beliefs which people carry. Peer pressure, friends pressure. I have taken so many cases and people tell me we started with our friends. So even with the girls' college survey, we did. The girls said that peer pressure was one of the major reasons. Again, our advertisements and movies are showcasing tobacco in a glamorous form. So all those things are also believe me, these are really impacting in a big way because we may find it crazy, but a lot of people do follow these actors and they behave like these actors and they start doing it after watching it. I have actually people have mentioned to me this in when I take the cases. So this has a huge impact. So unfortunately, these actors get paid a lot for these advertisements, but they are actually ruining the life of so many youngsters and so many productive age group people are losing life. So this is very unfortunate. So these are the reasons why people are doing and how they start about it. And of course, I mentioned how the addiction gets into it. And then, of course, the treatment is available and we need to spread this message. Of course, tobacco treatment, one the best part is that it doesn't require any kind of hospitalization or, that kind of a treatment. It can easily be treated at daycare basis. I can say this very confidently. I have counseled like more than 5,000 patients and till date nobody has got into any life threatening thing or any serious thing because of quitting or because of leaving tobacco habit. That is never going to happen. See, the advantage of tobacco withdrawals are that the withdrawals are never ever life threatening. That is the first point. These withdrawal symptoms are whatever are majorly a 99%, they are all mind related. And other thing is they don't last for more than 2 to 4 weeks. So initial 4 weeks is crucial because withdrawals are more common in that 4 weeks. This has a proper research available on it, and over a period of time these withdrawals will start subsiding. Of course, it will vary from person to person, but on an average, it will. The initial weeks are very important. That is why initially we do a good vigorous follow up. That we do a good hand holding and see to it that a person overcomes all these withdrawals, and definitely he can get out of the addiction also. So there are certain crucial or certain important points which I thought it could be beneficial to motivate a person, which I thought I could add to your information about this particular topic. And I think we are having I'm looking at the time also. So I think I have covered some of the points which I wanted to convey, and I want some time to answer your questions. Any point if you're not understood or any other questions about this topic, I think we can open up for a question answer session. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Uh, Dr. Rohan, in 38 minutes, you delivered everything. I must say everything about tobacco, the addiction, like Vande Bharat. You were into express train and
Thank
commendable. I must admire everything you mentioned. Now, dear friends, today who has joined later on, this is our 17th session and aligning with what Dr. Rohan said. I want to just mention one point. Give me a minute, I need to change my battery. So, aligning with what Dr. Rohan said, uh, let me mention one thing clearly. I was diagnosed with this stage 4 vocal cord cancer, and I was given few days to live with. But I underwent surgery, etc. Now, currently, I am celebrating the 28th year of my vocal cord cancer survivorship, and you know why? I have never ever consumed tobacco or any kind of drugs in my life. And that's how, I am sitting in front of you. That's how I am having a privilege and honor, being a patient ambassador of Indian Cancer Society, Delhi, and moderator. Now, friends, why we are bringing such competent and expert speakers for simple reason, and you guys are watching this for free. You don't pay a single penny. We definitely care about your health. We definitely care about your family and everything. My dear friends, as Dr. Ronda said, that animals are keeping away from tobacco, but we are we are very fortunate that we are using smartphone, but we are not rather smart enough. We are rather not smart enough to quit tobacco, and despite knowing the fact. On the contrary, instead of consuming or using tobacco cigarette in a different form, save that money, place, invest this money as a SIP, and instead of spending for cancer treatment, this can be helpful
Absolutely.
for you and for your family. So these are some of the steps I wanted to share with you, and I must admire, like you have explained everything in a very normal, in a very natural and easy to understand format. So thank you so very much.
Okay.
By the way, I would like to I'm grateful seeing Dr. Mel Vyas from US,
Yeah.
and
Mehul is a good friend of mine, and he also supports my cause, and we are always for this.
yeah, we have been in touch for a long time, but
Yes.
there are other engagements and so on, and hundreds of promises that he has also joined. So thank you so very much for everyone on joining this session. Vaishali, let's open the session for Q&A.
So currently we do not have such questions as doctor already covered literally everything, each and every point. So even I was about to ask something, but he has already covered many things. So there is just praises that it was very great session and very motivational, amazing session. Uh, very nice and informative session. ये वाले comments आ रखे हैं अभी बहुत सारे about 10-15.
That's okay, but I
That's
want to have some questions, and I will be happy to answer. Till the time people are thinking about the questions, I would like to mention two more points which I had mentioned before. I said that I will explain to it later. I had explained to you. I just said about ki when gutka ban happens, the cost of gutka goes on rising. And because of course it is smuggled, and also the 10 rupee gutka, 5 rupee will be going on 25 rupees, even to 50 rupees also people are paying for one packet of gutka now in Maharashtra, because it's not easily available. It's a smuggled kind of a thing. Now what happens is all of the people who are consuming cannot afford it. So what they do, they change the product. So why this change of product happens is something interesting to understand. See, when you are consuming a cigarette, a single cigarette, try to understand you are consuming thousands of chemicals, which I have already explained to you. But the main culprit or the main addiction, the reason of addiction, as I mentioned in the my this, it's nicotine. Now, this nicotine is one of the most addictive substance in the world. So this nicotine will go and create receptor level changes, and the body will demand for more nicotine. That is, will go from one cigarette to two cigarette because that body is demanding nicotine. And when this nicotine reaches the receptors, dopamine is released, which is a feel good hormone. You have a favorite food in front of you, or you're listening to your favorite music, or with your friends and family, you have that feel good feeling. That is because of this dopamine effect. The same dopamine is released because of this nicotine. Now the problem with nicotine is it's a dual sword. I mean, one, it will go on, it will make the dopamine rise, but the other level, once the nicotine level starts dropping, it will put a person into severe depression. It won't remain at the base level, it will go below baseline, and that is where the person will start craving, strong craving for another nicotine product. It could be cigarette or other thing. That is how people go on continuing it. But the problem is, when the person finds gutkhas are costly, what they will do, they will go to another cheaper products because they just want nicotine. So the same thing happens when the doctor tells a patient that you are smoking and you have a developed hypertension, so please stop smoking. Many people stop smoking and they convert to another tobacco product. They just shift the tobacco product. So you need to understand this. So the same concept is used in the treatment part where there is chewing gum and nicotine patches available. Now, what are these? Nicotex is just a brand name. So basically, it's a nicotine replacement therapy. So what they have done, they have replaced nicotine from tobacco into a crude form in the form of a chewing gum, lozenges, and patches. So when there is this urge, what happens? You put a patch, and this patch will have release of nicotine, and nicotine reaches the receptors, and the receptors urge will subside because they are getting nicotine. But at least you're saved from the other harmful chemicals which you are getting from smoking. So this is called as nicotine replacement therapy, where you are replacing the nicotine from tobacco into a crude form, where the body is saved from other harmful chemicals. But it is not easy as I'm saying it. It is just one part of the treatment. Because tomorrow, if the person doesn't get a nicotine chewing gum, he will go back to cigarette, which we don't want. So it is a part of the treatment, and the doctor decides what should be the dose. First of all, doctor decides who should be given it because after taking proper history, we decide. Second thing, it is in a proper dose. It has to be taken. Third thing, the dose has to be tapered. I mean, it has to be reduced, and it has to be supported by good regular follow up and counseling. That hand holding should be there. So don't take it. I mean, buy it directly because a lot of people, it's a OTC product. I mean, they don't require prescription of it, and people just go and buy it, and they don't get. I mean, sometimes they don't get the benefit of it because, of course, it was in a wrong dose and not required, and a lot of technicalities into it. There is a method of chewing called as chewing, and there is a method of consumption like chew and park method, and all. So it has to be taken in the expert advice. So that was one point which I had mentioned before. Another point was why the Supreme Court started the hookah parlors in spite of knowing these hookahs are dangerous. A lot of people, when I take sessions, they ask me if it is so dangerous, then why does the government stop it? I mean, this is a most common question you will get once you meet people that, oh, it is so harmful, then why the government doesn't stop it? See, first of all, try to understand tobacco farm or tobacco, whatever crop is a cash crop. I mean, a lot of money giving crop. So there was a time when tobacco government was having ministries to promote it also. But try to understand now it's different. But the farmers, there are lots and lots of people who are dependent on tobacco farming. That is the first part. So we need to give them a different source of livelihood. Like BD workers, it's a profession. So a lot of people are engaged into it. So we need to give them different source of livelihood. Second thing is tobacco. I mean, it's the revenue what the government gets out of tobacco is huge. So government, the first thing after COVID, what government started was the pan shops and the alcohol shops because government wants revenue. Third important thing, interesting thing is there is a democracy in India. So India is a democratic country. So in a democracy, you have certain rights also and you have some responsibilities also. So if a person is having license to sell alcohol, even the Supreme Court, even the government, even the police cannot stop him from selling alcohol if he has the license to sell alcohol. The same point was raised by the hookah parlor owners that they are having license to sell hookah and they are, I mean, they are not forcing anyone to have this hookah. So Supreme Court, in spite of knowing that these hookahs are dangerous, they had to start it. I hope you're getting my point. So it is nothing to do with they are safer and it. Definitely they are dangerous. Again, coming back to the government thing, it's not that government is not doing anything. Definitely government is having certain things. We are a part of the WHO convention framework where we are abiding with the laws with WHO is coming up and we'll implement them like the picture warning. The size has increased on the tobacco packets, which was less before. And a lot of other things are being implemented, of course, but they are still not enough. There's a lot to be done. But thanks to the a lot of organizations like ICS and Salam Mumbai Foundation, a lot of NGOs doing good work and pressurizing the government. But of course, as a doctor, what I feel is my health is my responsibility. I cannot blame the government for getting me into it because it's no one is forcing me to consume tobacco. It's my choice, my decision to take it. So these 2 points I wanted to quickly mention. I had mentioned it earlier. I think someone has asked a question.
Yes, sir. There is a question from Ankita. She said that, sir, I study in a dental college, but I have noticed that smoking is something that's becoming very common in the students of medical and dental colleges. How can we prevent this?
Yeah,
Future will
I'm
be
glad that
greatly
you have.
impacted
Yes.
if, let me first complete that.
Future doctors are into these practices. Okay, try to understand, Ankita, that when I was explaining about why do people get into addiction, this is something very important to understand. So as I said, this is particular, this chemical, the nicotine itself is very addictive. And certain second important point was the uh, personality. See, try to understand today, you need to have a good personality. And when I say personality, it has a lot of angles to it. And we are influenced by a lot of things. And somewhere I think the life skills are lacking with us, like the problem solving skills and all those basic life skills. Like a simple small stress can also lead people, like young people, doing suicides and all that we have seen becoming more and more common. So somewhere as a society we need to take this decision, and somewhere I think the personality plays a very important role, and of course your friend and family support is equally important. But having said that, I understand it becomes very difficult to talk to people or talk to doctors and tell them, because what should I explain them? I mean, they are already aware, they are dental college students, so they are medical students, so they know what is the harm and they know everything. But try to understand, at the end of the day, they are human beings, they have a family, they have a lot of whatever pressures and other things which they might be not able to handle in a proper way. So we should accept the fact that we need to take a good counseling, and whenever required, we all suffer, or we all have to have that. So we should not taboo people, or we should not target people. That I never do. And we should always positively approach them and talk to them, understand what's the reason why they are doing it first place. And of course, there should always be a possibility, or there should be an opportunity, or there should be a easy access given to them for the treatment part, and there should be a conducive environment where they can go and confess and they can easily get this help, and we should see to it that they are getting out of it. Of course, I understand your concern that medical college students, it is something very, I mean, wrong example we are setting for the general public also, and it is very difficult to explain them because they are already aware of it. It's not just tobacco, what I've recently realized, and it's about the weed is also becoming more and more common, which during my college days, it was not that easily accessible, but weed nowadays is available in all the medical engineering colleges. They feel it is something very, herbal or something like that, and people are consuming it rampantly. Believe me, weed addiction is dangerous, and tobacco we can take care at daycare basis, but weed we cannot take care. Weed withdrawals are so severe, and they are so difficult to control that it needs a psychiatric treatment, and people may require admission to hospitalizations also. So I think, yeah, it's a good point, valid point, and I do understand. But of course, we need to have, as I said, good communication or good discussions happening on a regular basis, or they should get an opportunity to whatever platforms. Probably they can start some, cells where people can go and take care of their mental health also. Good evening, sir. My question is that if a person is involved in taking tobacco after telling him about those consequences, then he still continues, what to make him aware about it, it is threatening diseases, to make him aware to quit tobacco. Okay, this is a treatment part. So with the time constraint, I'm not going to treatment much, but I'll just give you the reason why this happens. So try to understand. I am motivated to that people should quit. That doesn't mean all the people whom I meet who are into consumption maybe immediately, or they are mentally prepared or ready to quit. So this is something, a psychological theory. I mean, it is not only concerned with tobacco thing. So basically, there is a Prochaska change model. So change doesn't happen suddenly, or the change doesn't happen in a one night. So change happens in a at different levels, and there's a mindset of change. And every person who you meet may not be having the same mindset. So there is a Prochaska scale, which is kind of, I'll just explain it briefly. It is called as, there are stages like pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, maintenance, and relapse. So the person who is in a pre-contemplation stage, just to make you understand, I will give you another simple example, that if he's an overweight person, a fat person, obese person, and everyone is telling him, you are obese, you are fat, you are overweight, you need to reduce because it is going to be dangerous for your body. You please reduce weight. but that fat person will tell you, I am okay with it. I don't think I am fat. So he is not even accepted the fact that he is fat and he should lose weight. So this is something where this is a typical pre-contemplation stage of mind. A smoker will tell you, I'm okay with smoking. I don't want to quit. I'm okay. Whatever consequences, I'm okay with it. I'm not afraid of anything. So this is a typical pre-contemplation stage of mind. Then the stage come where the smoker will start thinking, the fat person will start thinking, oh, I should do something about it. Even my doctor told me, even I'm finding it difficult to do my daily shows, whatever it is. So he will start thinking, at least he has started thinking about it. This is the contemplation stage where the smoker has started thinking about it. Then comes a stage where the fat person will do a gym or pay a gym ka membership. He has not started going, but he has taken the decision. So he's preparing. So this is a preparation stage where the smoker will give you a quit date. After the preparation stage comes the action stage where the fat person has started going to the gym. He has taken that action to doing it. So this is the action stage, and the smoker has quit completely. So that is an action stage. Obviously, now after action, there are two possibilities. There is a chance of maintenance or relapse. The person may do continue it, or the person can again get into the cigarette habit, or the fat person may stop going to the gym. So now understand the person whom you are meeting may not be from the always be into a preparation or action stage. He might be from a pre-contemplation stage where you are not even where he has not even thought of quitting. So what in treatment part, what we do is we cannot force them or we cannot give them a strategy to quit because he has not even thought of quitting. Strategy can be given to a person who is already decided to quit and he just wants your help. So he's typically in a preparation stage where you need to take him through the action plans, and we have wonderful action plans given by WHO and the treatment protocols and everything. But for a person who is in a pre-contemplation stage, Max, what you can do is you can tell him something about the risk and rewards. What is risk and rewards? It's not only about the health risk. It is not only about cancers. It is risk about economic risk, how you're losing your money. It's about social risk, how your children will do it, how your family is getting affected about it. And believe me, this appeals people much more. I've seen taxi drivers, truck drivers quitting just by when their concern about their family comes into picture, and tell them about the rewards. And when I talk about the rewards, it is not just monetary rewards, it is also the health rewards, which I told you about. What are the good changes happening in the body which people are totally unaware about. So once they understand ki, okay, I can quit now and my body can repair, probably they can get motivated to quit. So this risk and rewards, we can tell them ki, these are the risks, these are the rewards, and personalize it according to if they're having some disease, some comorbidities, relate to that disease ki, this disease will get worsened and it would be a risk for you, and leave it there. Tell them ki, we are helping you, we will be helping you, we are there to quit. Anytime in future you need our help, you can get back to us. But don't just go and giving him the advice because he's not in that particular stage. First we need to get him to a contemplation and preparation stage, probably then we can give him the action plan. So treatment protocols are there. I can take another session if wherever possible to that, and but we can cover it. There are different ways to handle these cases. I hope you have got the gist of it. Thank you for the wonderful question.
Sir, there is one more question. Someone mentioned that जैसे कि आपने पहले बताया था कि च्युइंग टोबैको से इवेंचुअली एक स्टेज पे पहुंच जाते हैं कि उनका माउथ ओपन नहीं होता है, वो चबा नहीं पाते ठीक से। देन उस सिचुएशन में किसी को क्या करना चाहिए इफ दे वांट नाउ टू फिक्स इट बिकॉज
Yeah,
दे
so when once this has happened, submucous fibrosis, the treatments are definitely there. There are certain exercise, though, what the physiotherapist also advise, and there are some retractors, equipments available which you can buy. So of course you have to take the where this it's a equipment where you need to keep on pushing and the screw it has to be done tight and it has to be taken morning, evening, and all, and slowly, it won't happen immediately, but yes, slowly, then this the mouth opening will start happening again. So it will increase slowly. So definitely there are equipments and treatments which can take care of it. Of course, it will take little time, but yeah, I have seen people getting improvements and it has increased in size also. There was one more question I saw here. Kindly clear effects of passive smoking. Yeah, this is good. You asked about this. I missed it. Passive smoking is something where you are not direct smoking, but you are directly exposed to the smoke from a person who is smoking, and that is called as second-hand smoking or passive smoking. Now, believe me, in a year we are losing almost 10 to 13 lakh people die. 10 to 13 lakh people die because of smoking and tobacco consumption related diseases. That huge is the number. And out of this huge number, 5 to 6% die because of second-hand smoking related illnesses. Second-hand smoking or second-hand exposure. So second-hand smoking is that dangerous. I'm not saying they are getting affected. People are dying because of second-hand smoking related illnesses. So it is that dangerous, that serious, and we need to take it very seriously. Another thing is because you mentioned about second hand, I would also mention about third hand smoking. Now there is something called as third hand smoking, which some of you may not be aware of. If you are entering an empty room or a passage or some room where there are curtains and sofas and all, and you go there and you feel that someone must have smoked over here. Why? Because definitely someone has smoked over there who is not present at that time, but the particles remain there for a longer time. And today there is lot to research available to show how this third hand smoking is also impacting the people who are getting exposed to it. A lot of research available. So this is called as third hand smoking, and this is also dangerous and it is also impacting people. So good question. Any other question we have seen?
मेहुल जी
Jyotsna ma'am,
आप
you are on mute.
अनम्यूट कर
You are
लीजिए
talking.
and you can speak.
Yeah.
I was going to tell Rohan that he's doing exactly what he's saying shouldn't be done with anyone. You're force feeding our audience now. So I think we will leave you have so much information. I have no doubt about it, but we'll leave it for another. Shrenik, is that all right?
Ma'am, I
Sure.
Uh,
think Mr. Mehul Vyas have something to say. I think we
Yeah,
will wrap up after him.
that's,
Sure.
yeah.
ओके मेहुल जी
Yeah,
आप जी अपने आप को
thank
अनम्यूट कर लीजिए एंड प्लीज.
thank you, Vaishali, for letting me speak, and I'm so happy to see Dr. Rohan here and my friend Shrenik bhai. Meeting him after a long time, feeling very nice. We are we have a special relation, me and Shrenik bhai, because we had the same cancer. So just to make the long story short, I am a stage 4 throat cancer survivor. I used to smoke, I used to chew tobacco. I speak with only one vocal cord, and everything that Dr. Rohan has said is 100%, 110% true.
True.
So it started with peer pressure in college. Then I thought, no, my friend smokes more. He will get cancer first. I will stop after that. It didn't happen. He still smokes. I got cancer. And it was so long story short, I had treatment. I luckily survived. Everyone does not. I go to schools and colleges and organizations share my story, and I try to make people, understand how dangerous it is. The most I realize is that the person who's smoking is affected, but more are the people around him, his family that is affected. I
Yeah.
see I see kids coming crying, tell my dad, tell my brother, quit, tell him your story and all. So if any smoker is there in this group, or if you come across anyone, tell them that if you love your family, quit smoking. If you love yourself, of course you should. But yeah, so long again. Thank you, Dr. Rohan, for doing
My
all
pleasure.
the
My
jobs
pleasure.
that you do. And nice meeting you, Shrenik sir. Again, I hope we get back again soon. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
ma'am.
Thank
uh,
you, Rohan, and I'm sorry if I cut you short, but
No,
I
no, no. Absolutely. Yeah, of course.
uh, well, thank you, Malvai and Dr. Rod. Now, before we wrap up, I would like to add two points here pertaining to the questions by Ankita and Priyansi Singh. Ankita, when you are unable to manage someone stopping sm- smoking or whatever, I mean, drag them into emotional conversation. Like, if you love your family, if you love your children, you know, stop smoking or stop using tobacco. That is the best solution. And to Priyansi saying, the best solution which I can suggest if someone is not willing to stop smoking or using tobacco, take them to cancer hospital, let them see recently operated kidney cancer patient, let them see their face, tubes and everything. Trust me, once they will see them, once they will see these kind of patients, forget about stopping using tobacco smoking, but they will not be able to live, they will not be able to sleep for 1 week. I guarantee that. And whoever is having such difficulty, I'm gonna ask them to come down to Ahmedabad. I will take them to private cancer hospital and have them around. And trust me, within next 24 hours, they will quit uh, smoking and using tobacco in any format. So, Dr. Ron, thank you so very
My
much
pleasure. My pleasure.
for commendable talk, and I'm grateful to all audience for cancer. I mean, for all your questions, and I believe Dr. Ron has addressed everything. And hopefully, we will ask Dr. Ron to come once again for
Yes.
the next session in a
Sure,
coming time,
sure, sure. It would be my pleasure.
right? So, thank you so very much, everyone. And well, we will have to wrap up. Vaishali, would you mind sharing that? Because I have one interview starting in another 20 minutes.
Sure, sir. There is one more session if you all like to join. So I'm sharing that link in the chat box. You all can join. Shrenik sir, would you like to say what is it about and what they will be hearing?
I will be sharing my journey. It's about the power of voice and touching the horizon. I mean, I have been interviewed like I have moderated event for Dr. Ron. Now someone is moderating event for me. I am being interviewed in next 23 minutes, and it's live session, and Vaishali is sharing the template and link to join in next 23 minutes. Thank you, Dr. Ron. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you, ICS. Thank you, Josna ma'am. Thank you, Shrenik sir, Vaishali for the wonderful arrangements. Looking forward for more such informative sessions and whatever I can contribute. And I'm a volunteer of ICS, any ICS, Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, anywhere. Always.
Great, great. See you soon, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you,
Yes.
everyone.
Bye bye, Mehul. Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank you.
Thank you,
See you.
Dr. Rohan. Thank you,
Bye
Shrenik
bye.
sir.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you,
Bye.
Thank you, Shrenik.
Yes, Jodhani, thank you so much for your graceful presence and everyone. And also Dr. Ajay Thomas and everyone from ICS. Vaishali, as usual, you did commendable job. Thank you.
Take care. Take care. All of you.
You too.
Be
Bye.
safe.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.